Welcome back to another live stream. I am Keith. Welcome to Live Journey Production Studios. Let me know if it sounds good. And lots of people already here, some having to leave and possibly come back. And had a little Easter egg in the intro tonight. Have an Easter egg in the outro tonight too. But did want to welcome you guys to the live stream. Talk a little bit tonight, a little deeper about some of the discoveries from NAB and some awards that were won and some products no one's talking about. Makes me wonder what the deal is. So welcome, welcome. And thank you, Freddie, for letting me know the audio and video is great. And I've been saying hi in the chat. So if you guys have any ideas tonight, I did a poll. I've never done a poll before. It says it has a little bit of time left to go. But the question was, are you looking forward to cloud editing, collaborating? And so just doing a poll to get ready for tonight and get some insight into where you guys are at. We're gonna talk about cloud editing. We're gonna talk about Filmic Pro. We're gonna talk about a software that integrates with a lot of the editing tools that we're all using, and even deeper into Final Cut Pro. And that's kind of what motivated the award for this company and their software. And I'm quite intrigued. You guys know that I come from the audio engineering side of the world back in the days. And then I was doing video as well, because obviously when you're recording bands and you're doing things like that, having the ability to do a music video to behind the scenes was super important. So that's what motivated me to get my first real camcorder, or really video camera. In reality, wasn't really a camcorder. It was a Panasonic HMC 150. Could do a maximum of 720p. And now we're all buying cameras that can do 4K up to even 8K. And then Blackmagic Design has their 12K cameras, 6K Pro. So many things out there. Sony, all the other brands, Canon, and the plethora of the rest of them. From Nikon to you name it, Lumix, all of those guys are diving into deep, high def video. So obviously the world that a lot of us are streaming in is a little bit different than the world of television or live broadcasting, because we're broadcasting live, and I'm broadcasting live right now on YouTube, 1080p, 2997 frames per second. Audio is 48 hertz, whatever the bit rate is. I haven't checked in a while, and it looks like our stream is going really well. And if you look behind me, we're streaming somewhere about 6.1, 6.2 megabytes a second. If I'm making a lot of movement, you'll watch that go up. And if I freeze, you can watch it go down. So, but the other side of the world in broadcasting is quite interesting. And I just wanted to give a shout out to some guys that join me here a lot, and Tony did a video on his channel this week on SRT. SRT is one of those tools that we can now use to be able to stream through the internet. It's supposed to have super low latency, and it's being used by lots of people in broadcast, and that kind of way of streaming through internet is taking over the world right now. It seems like we're even going to be able to do collaboration through the internet, through the cloud. And that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight, because there is such a buzz out there in the industry, and that's kind of been interesting to me. So I am definitely not an expert tonight, but I am an expert at leading the conversations and asking the questions and facilitating here on the channel ideas and thoughts outside of just maybe a HyperDeck, which that's one of my best performing ever live streams. It's over 1,000 views in 2 weeks. That aired 2 weeks ago right now. And so I've never had 1,000 people watch a live stream on my channel before. So obviously people are interested in the HyperDeck Shuttle. People are interested in the new constellations by Blackmagic Design. And it takes a while to kind of process these things that are released. And I think that's why Blackmagic Design released the Shuttle and some of the other changes, the higher end HyperDeck, all of those ahead of time, to give us a chance to kind of digest that, go into, at least that's what they said. And Aaron Parecki got a chance to talk to, the guru of Blackmagic design, and Grant and him had some conversations, and Aaron's sharing that on his channel as he remembers those conversations off the record, sort of. Obviously, everything that he's going to say at NAB is going to be on the record, but what do they want? Things they wanted to do is just initiate the conversation, right? People are coming to NAB. There hadn't been one for 2 years, and it was an opportunity for them to go, wow, what are we going to talk about? Let's create a conversation. They did that. I think they had to scramble to get those releases done. They had more things that they were able to announce, obviously, right before NAB, and that was the Constellation HD. And so there may be more things in the works. They obviously alluded to that, but didn't come right out and say it at NAB. And then they released, the same time as the HyperDecks, all of this cloud capability, a new update to DaVinci Resolve, and it has the ability to collaborate. And they even made it semi-affordable for those of us who are streaming at home. So you can buy a cloud device, and we're going to look at those here tonight, that isn't that expensive, that you can then use your SSD in and then be able to collaborate. So I say all that to say this: there's this broadcast side and there's this live streaming side. And now, because of one of the events that Aaron Parecki held, with a number of people that live stream on Amazon, I've joined a Facebook group on about Amazon, and all of these people are joining together in that group to learn more about streaming live on Amazon, which is a whole nother platform that we can stream on. And there's obviously a plethora of platforms now we can stream. So obviously our world's changing. And so I do want to invite you guys to the post show, but it's not going to be tonight. In fact, I have a little stinger here, and you get to tolerate this again. And next week's post show, I'm going to talk about some other things, as well as this device right here. So here's your official invite, not tonight, but next week we're going to have a post show. But before I roll this video, I just want to tell you why we're not having a post show tonight. It's because I really felt like this conversation, I wanted to relax into it. I know people are going to watch this video. There's a lot of chatter right now on my channel because of the HyperDeck Shuttle and because last week's conversation in the post show about the constellations, that video is performing quite well. And so tonight, if they consume this video and you're not watching it live, and if you are watching it live, thank you so much for joining me. I really want to invite you to consider subscribing and joining the chat, asking your questions, responding to the polls, and that would be great. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. So let me roll this video. It's going to be an official invitation to the post show next week, and then we'll get into the chat and do some greeting and talk a little bit more about what Tony did on Sunday with a couple of the gents here in our live stream, and I'll kind of share my feedback, and then you guys can all go over there tonight during our normal post-show time and check out their video. And I'm going to encourage you to go. All three of them have this video on their channels, and all three of these guys attend this live stream, and so a shout out to them. I want to see their channels grow as well, and they're pretty diversified if you look at their portfolio and you listen to some of the things that they shared. So again, no post show tonight. We're going to go a little bit longer because I don't want to rush this conversation. You can stay as long as you want. If you have not subscribed, you'll need to chat and wait 5 minutes, and then you can join the chat. And I would love to have some questions and conversations later tonight, and again, not rush this, but I do have some interesting things to share. We're going to look at some websites. This should be fun. So here's your official bat invitation till next week. I hope you enjoy this video again, uptight, up close, and personal. Actually, I was logged into my ATEM Mini Pro control software and had to switch it over. I just looked up to see, I wanted to see what length the video is. One of the things I love about the control software is that if you're on the HyperDeck section in the media player, you can actually see how much time is left in your clip. I wish that was a feature that was available on the new output for the HyperDeck HD Studio HD Plus and the higher index, because they have an SDI out, and that SDI out has the ability to turn information on or off. So that was a change back in July when the new HyperDecks were introduced. The new HyperDeck Shuttle has the ability to do teleprompting. I'm really excited about that. Mine's on order. I'm waiting for a shipment to come to the DEVE store. I don't have any sponsors tonight, so but I did order my last HyperDeck Studio HD Plus from the DEVE store. Ordered my Extreme ISO from them, and just developing a relationship because they're right here in my state, and want to support local businesses as much as I possibly can. So the other thing that HyperDeck will do is that you can actually display the menus on the screen, and I'm excited about that as well. So inside the software, when you're in the control software, you can see the countdown clock for your HyperDecks, and I'm hoping someday I'll figure out a workaround where I can actually have that countdown clock on a monitor, just that countdown clock on my screen. That would be really exciting. So, okay, so let's turn the chat on here, change screens, and let's look at what you guys are saying here. Again, it's great to have you guys back again, and I got my little note up there so you guys can see that. I'm going to take that down now. Let's just say hi. It's good to see you here, Doug. Thank you for joining me. Tony said hi earlier. He might be back because we're going to go a little bit longer tonight. Let's see. I saw, got to scroll down here. Freddie, it's good to see you. TVJ. TVJ was in that SRT live stream. And so make sure you check out his channel. Let's see. David, it's good to see you here. I did not see you earlier when I was looking at the chat. I know I missed someone here. I think I got TVJ up there. That's what his channel is. So you can go check his out, and learning how to moderate more chat. Joe is here from Conjoling Technologies. Also was in that SRT live stream. These three guys come from quite an educated foundation, and I was quite fascinated. I can't wait to continue having this NDI, SRT conversation in the future. And again, way above my pay grade. I'm growing and learning, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to have you guys being able to be a part of a conversation here. And I do have a plan, I think I've shared before, to be able to do an invite to certain people for a Zoom conversation. Not recorded, not live, just a conversation. Because I think it would be exciting a couple times a year, or maybe 4 times a year, to have some regulars in a Zoom conversation, just have a real conversation like we're all sitting out on my patio with a cup of whatever and enjoying the conversation, talking about things that are happening in our personal world as well as in the production world, either in home studios or in large live productions. And that's not it. We have other people attending this live stream that are, and I believe we're going to see them joining from this group that are live streaming on Amazon. I have some clients of mine that have found me here on YouTube, and I'm helping them learn how to live stream. They're already producing videos or doing venues, and I'm helping them. I have an install coming up very, very soon, and I'm looking forward to how that plays out. So, let's see. So I think I got everybody on the screen. I can't go back and look. But I said hi to David, Freddie, Joe, Doug, Tony earlier was in the stream, and maybe more will come up. Yeah, but we can run a puppet like you. Yeah, I know. That is a skill set that I have that not many have, and it's nice to have that one skill set that you have that not many have. And so awesome. Well, again, I hope you'll settle down, sit back, get yourself something to drink. Now, if you're driving, like I believe TVJ said, keep your eyes on the road. Don't watch the video. Hopefully you have something in the automobile to drink that's maybe appropriate for a drive home. But I hope that we can have this conversation. And again, there's other things we could talk about. I would love to talk about lenses, David. You know, I'm a Canon guy. But it seems like my channel centers around live streaming tech, video production, and I understand that, and I'm going to stay there tonight. But there are some things happening in our industry that have caught my attention. At the same time, I'm trying to learn myself, so it's great to have things like just happen on Tony's site. So go back, guys, and watch either on Controlling Technologies or TVJ's or Quick Tech Solutions, which is Tony's channel. Go there and subscribe, and then watch this video. And you're going to find out, if you follow these three gents, that they have a different take on this. They come from a different area, and they have some skill sets that cross, and they've met each other prior, I believe, prior to my channel. And then they came over to join me, and I'm honored that you guys would join me. And then David is a photographer. And so go check out his channel. If I want to learn about what Sony's doing, he is always talking about what Sony's up to. He's down under in Australia, and it's an exciting place to be because there's a lot of vendors producing stuff there. And I noticed that some of the people like Petra on her channel already has a HyperDeck HyperDeck Shuttle HD and unboxed it. Also the new cloud device that does not have any internal storage, but you can use SSD cards with it. And so I'm looking forward to watching people unbox the shuttles and also do reviews on it, time lapse, and I will do mine as soon as mine arrives. Who knows when that's going to happen. So good to see you here, Bill, as always. It's okay, you're a little bit late. Thank you for joining us. Just FYI, I've already played my invite to next week's post show. No post show tonight, so just sit back and relax. You don't have to consume to or make a decision to consume to, but we will be back with the post show next week. We are going to go a little bit longer tonight because I want to talk about a number of different things that I found in studying NAB. And one of these companies has already won an award for CES 2022, an honorary award. And I guess they're going to be speakers there, and they are making an evolution in software development and sound design, video editing, and integrating all of that to make it quicker and faster. So you got cloud on one side, and you have these other tools that are surfacing that are going to help us go quicker, and even tools that apply to being fast with a device like this, right? This is the Apple iPhone, the newest version. I have all three lenses, and I have it not just because I want to have cool tech, which is one reason. I want to have the tool that's in here, and I've already done some cinema videography with that effect. It's not the same as a high-end lens, getting that bokeh blur, but it's got some usability for B-roll when you're on the fly, as well as I like to teach people that are out there in the working world that they can use their camera in their phone to do some stuff to help build their business, to be able to get out live, do stuff on social media, and be able to get the word out, because that's how we communicate today. We communicate probably percentage-wise 60 to 70% more now through social media or streaming stuff. Lot less newspapers, a lot less radio listening. I mean, we still listen to the radio on a regular basis, but I don't know that we're doing a lot of our consuming through those commercials as much as we are on Amazon and YouTube, finding out about all these products, listening to people tell us about those tools on YouTube, watching them unbox it, and then going to Amazon or wherever we go, B&H or DV or Adorama or any of these places to purchase that. Now, those are US places that people purchase. Obviously, in Australia and other places, it's different. There's stores there as well. But worldwide, we do know some of these products because the world is getting smaller through this ability to stream. So cloud, live streaming, the ability to produce high-end with a phone now, even be able to do things with this in the cloud, being able to do things on my computer in the cloud. And as these guys shared in their live stream this week, that there is coming very soon the ability for lots of us, and you can already get it now, to be able to bond everywhere you go, a number of different cell manufacturers. Aaron Precky did a video on his channel about a new company that has a device that you can have inside it. All of the different networks in your area, and it'll bond it all together, and you pay a monthly subscription to get that device, and then you can take it mobile for streaming. So you could be on a location using that device to have the speed to even do editing with other people. And again, that's what I want to talk about tonight. So we're going to get right into that, even though it's already 20 after. So, okay, so let's go back here and make sure that I don't miss a single important thing that you guys said. Just reading to catch up. I think it's important to share that. Tony says as well, great SRT stream. This question right here, I'll address. No, I haven't received it yet. I do have the HyperDeck Shuttle on order, and I'll talk about all the reasons when I unbox it that night. I'm going to unbox it live, and then I'll take that video and put it up later. Again, I'm not recording tonight. I'm just going to rely on YouTube. If it crashes, then I apologize. We'll just try to go live back up again. But I haven't been using any of my recordings unless I do an unboxing. So I'm not recording tonight. And you can see there's nothing happening on this side, just on that side. So waiting for the dev store, Freddie, to let me know when that's going to ship. I think I'm number 21 on their list. I waited, I think 48 hours before I pulled the trigger. I needed to process. So as soon as it gets here, I will be letting people know. I'll probably take a picture and post it to the community, so you guys will know ahead of time that I have it in my hot little hands. So then you will know that that'll be a part of that next live stream. And that'll be in the regular show at 4 o'clock. And then I might talk more about the shuttle in the post show. I'm going to pay close attention to the teleprompting in that live stream that first night, because that's what seems to be most of the questions has to do right now with teleprompting, because very few videos out there really diving into that feature. So Joe says still light in Washington, not here. Sun's going down. Yeah. So you are a little bit on the other side of where the sun sets at. So I do understand that it gets dark. I lived in Pennsylvania for a bunch of years. And and I have friends out there now. So 3 hours later there, and it's dark in those necks of the woods. David asked me, oh man, why didn't that go on there? David's asking, am I going to get one of the ATEMs? That's a good question. I'm right on the fence, like I was when the new HyperDecks came out, which was a pretty easy decision for me because I'm known for the HyperDecks, and I definitely want to stay on top of that device. I do a lot of training on that device, as well as other devices, so I've got to pay attention to those things. I've often wondered, should I get a YOLO box? Should I get a YOLO box Pro? That's a great mobile device that could be something that could work with some of my clients. I'm working on a deal right now that I might be working with a larger client. If it works out with more than one location, that would be the second client that I have that has multiple locations. And so it might be a good solution for some of those locations, though I don't know. So those are questions. So as soon as I make that decision, I will let you guys know. Do I have the wrong person up here? Where is that? Yeah, somehow I had the wrong person up there. So that was David's question right there. And so David, the jury is out, but there's some interesting things in that device, and I would be happy to share that a little bit later tonight. And it's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And again, when you go to the other live streams and you listen to other people talking about it, they may say something that gets you thinking and makes you start wondering, is it a device that you should potentially have in your studio? The big disadvantage of that device for me is all the SDI outputs, and I don't see any XLR inputs. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. And then it has a bunch of outputs that you can send different things to. I don't know for sure yet if multi-view is one of those things that you can route to those outputs, but they all have program audio out. So it's not like you can have an input come in and then route audio from that same input through to that device. Only what audio you have on your program is going to work. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. I would need to sit down with a notepad, David, to really sort that out in my head. And that's how I normally do that. So, okay. So thank you guys. We're going to dive in here a little bit, and I'm trying to exactly think how I want to start this out. Let's see. What would be the best way to do that? I'm at a loss tonight of where to start. Let's do this. Let me go like this. And we'll do this. So this cloud store has captured my attention. Let's start here. This is probably the thing that I'm least excited about, but I feel like I need to be. And I'll tell you why. Let's talk about this real quickly. There's a number of different major companies that have announced the ability to cooperate with other people at other locations. And in order to do that, not that you can't already have Zoom calls, not that you can't already share files in Dropbox like many of us do. I used Dropbox for years. Now I use my Google Drive. Some people aren't comfortable with Google Drive. There's the 2018 Cloud Act, which kind of changes things in the cloud for the world. And not that I want to go into that, but that's just kind of from the political side to try to be able to figure out how do you then handle all of this information that's going around the world in the cloud. And it's a great tool. We're talking about SRT, that you can send video across the internet. Not a really good solution, evidently, for audio, but it's a great solution for video, low latency. So what about sending files back and forth and being at your desk on DaVinci Resolve and someone else on their desk in DaVinci Resolve, being able to share these files, have someone editing, doing color correction in one location, and someone else doing some transition in other locations, and then being able to update these files, which just the thought of it boggles my mind. But it would be no different if we were all in a facility doing that. And we all know that remote work has just taken off. And not only that, it's not just remote work. I think the reason remote work happens so quickly and many businesses had to embrace it, we would say it's because what we went through for the last couple of years, and that was a catalyst. I don't think that's the only catalyst. The technology was increasing, the availability of things like an ATEM, things like OBS, different tools out there, some of the webcams with the capability of doing things, even phones you were able to do, FaceTime. You could do all kinds of other tools with other devices. I was already live streaming from a phone years ago and using it as a video production device, using apps on my phone to edit video, add tracks, upload them to my Google Drive, send a link to someone else so they could preview the video, bring it back on my phone, and then edit it, making the changes, rendering a file so that they could view it, and then making changes based on their input. But I never really wrapped my brain around this until I watched the Blackmagic Design conversation when they released the whole cloud idea, DaVinci 18, Resolve 18 change. And now it's just fascinating to me of what you're going to be able to do this. So on this desk, you can see that they have a device that was pretty cool and pretty awesome years ago. You could color your video using the DaVinci Resolve, and you have this interface. And I've had interfaces like that that just control software. And now we need to kind of go to this next level. What do we do with all these files? How do we then share them? How do we replace proxies? And if you don't know what a proxy is, it's a lower resolution file that's easier to share that you can then replace with the raw file. So if you're going to record 12K, you don't necessarily have to edit in 12K. Everything can be linked together. You can edit proxy files color proxy files, but there is the idea that when you do want to do coloring, do you really want to not work with the original file? And there's still some debate on that. But as proxies and speed increases, the file resolutions that we can work together and cooperate with, as they get better and the tools get better, we're going to need a place to store all of this heavy, high quality video that we're shooting. And think about it, ProRes HQ, 444, 10-bit, even higher bit rates are available. These are huge files. I can fill up now, just doing 1080p, one of these scan discs. This one is 1 terabyte. I have one that's 2 terabyte. I actually have 4 of these, and I have my clients buy these so that I can put their information on here. I can edit through USB-C on these. So this is a device that would be nice to be able to then plug into a cloud device. Wouldn't it be great if I could do that? And I'm just joking, because Blackmagic Design just came out with the tool to do that exactly. So I could plug this in and then log into my cloud account through DaVinci or through Blackmagic Design, and then I could begin to co-op. So let's say Tony and I wanted to share a file, and he and I have worked on some projects together where I was making a project for him. We could have then just kind of opened up DaVinci Resolve and had some back and forth, and that would be incredible to do things like that and cooperate. And so Adobe Premiere is making changes. There's companies that are integrating with Final Cut Pro, FilMic Pro, which is an app for your phone. All of this thing is growing and expanding faster than we can even imagine. So cloud, let's just look. It's a high performance network storage with global sync. So you can sync with people all around the world, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. So talk about taking the wide world that we're in and bringing it closer together. And obviously, you know, there's two sides of this conversation, right? We have borders, we have border patrols, we have all of these things. We have laws in one country that maybe don't completely apply to another country. People have been flying back and forth for years. We have passports. Now things are changing, even in the United States, where your driver's license can have your passport built into it. All of these things are changing because the world is getting closer, and I can be on a live stream and have someone from Australia like David on the stream with me, and Venezuela with Freddie's from. And it's just amazing that we can have this relationship and then also collaborate. So I'm not going to read all the fine print. I just wanted to take you guys down through this and spur up some conversation. So here you go. You have this device. These are not inexpensive. We'll talk about the costs here in a minute. You can design for film and television. And I know there's some people out there doing films and using DaVinci Resolve. There's some TV stations that are using it. They use other products. There's lots of things. I'm even running into some switchers and some consoles that I'd never heard of before, especially as I visit more and more a broader audience out on YouTube, learning about this production culture. And again, I'm just growing in it like we all are. And if we continue to go down here, you can see all of the network capabilities here. And so you basically have 10G Ethernet built into it and 1G Ethernet as well. And it's just pretty incredible what these devices are able to do. And then you can fill them with different amounts of storage. And here you have these guys collaborating on the same project, and this makes sense, right? Because they're in the same building. But imagine if this was just one table and there were 16 other tables in 16 different locations. That's what this is really all about. Flash memory allows multiple simultaneous users. You can even integrate conversations inside DaVinci Resolve. And if you go to Blackmagic's announcement about 2 weeks ago now, you'll be able to see them demo right in that room, all these people popping up on the screen, and they can actually make in real time changes to the software. You can sync with Dropbox, which we're very familiar, lots of us with Dropbox. And it's just pretty incredible. So here's the device that I had in my still image. That's the image that I had in my still image. And then this really caught my eye. I mean, think about this. You can actually real time see the drives and how they're performing and where the data is being written. And it's just pretty incredible that they're all listed here. So once again, Blackmagic Design has actually even given you the ability. And this kind of reminds me, if you think about it, when they released the new web presenter HD and the 4K, it had this beautiful interface. And a lot of people like, I follow Aaron Parecki. He has a web presenter HD. It doesn't stream when he's live anymore from his A10 Mini Extreme ISO like I am right now. He streams through his web presenter. So when he's doing his demos, switching things around, he doesn't really have to worry about losing anything inside his A10 Extreme ISO because he's not streaming. So he's not going to accidentally shut it off or reveal his streaming key. So this screen is really interesting. So real-time monitoring, a usage indicator, cloud store name, storage map. So it tells you a map of where things are being stored. Cloud sync status is right there on the left-hand side. On the bottom there on the left, you have the user connections. You can see who's connecting. Cloud store status, so you can actually see the cloud store. Again, all of these things are conversations and things that are going to be like normal for most of us probably 10 years from now, but we're just now, many of us, getting acquainted with this whole concept. So a couple more things, and I'm going to look at your questions or your comments and your chats. We'll talk about costs. We'll talk about the different things they're offering. So then you also have speed graphics. So it shows you how your speed's going. So almost like a radar gun, you can tell how things are moving in your cloud and on your device. So it's quite incredible. And then here's a closer look at the inside of these devices. And all of these cards have storage on them. And then you can see the back side to be able to see some of the other things. So redundancy, you have for mission critical use. So you actually have redundancy built into this. And these kind of devices technically have been around a long time, just now being incorporated into this video collaborating cloud world that we're all experiencing now as we work remotely and we collaborate together. And that means you can hire, when you have these systems in place, you now can have people not have to move and relocate, sell their house, relocate, take all of that risk. Now you can just close them by having them do all this remotely. And this has been happening for a long period of time. Now, food for thought. Do you know that there was artists that actually had concerts during the lockdowns where they were playing together at different locations in a live event? It's incredible, even on network shows, in order to be able to put these bands on live and still be able to provide music online. And there's new companies that everybody's even talking about that their stock's going to go like crazy. And we'll talk about that in the post show next week. And that they're all organizations and companies that have come out of the last couple of years, and they're taking advantage and learning and growing in this industry, especially in the music industry, to get ready to do some incredible things and make music more readily available. And we're going to talk about music later tonight as it relates to video production, from sound effects to video clips, transitions, intro, outro music, and how you can start integrating and making that even easier with new products that are available out there in the industry. So not only do you have this ability to have redundancy, 10G Ethernet, USB-C for quick file access, and USB-C these days is super fast, very quick. Saw a new terabyte, or 1 terabyte up to 4 terabyte scan disk available now at over 2,000 megabytes a second capability up to. So that just means that you could edit even quicker and faster, download files, transfer files, and then use those devices to make yourself more portable and make it easier to work with clients and not have to back up on a spinning drive, wait for it to wake up, always be able to start editing immediately. And I have to wait for my 10 gig backup drive to spin up all the time when I'm needing to bring files in from it. And I love just being able to plug one of these in and start editing. And I don't have to have them all plugged in, because I just plug the one in that I'm working on today, because all the files are kept right here. This is very fascinating to me, and it could streamline even my world as I work with more and more clients, and I need more and more storage space to be organized and then collaborate. So pretty interesting. So let's stop here and just see if you guys have any questions or comments so far, and then I'm going to continue. And again, I know I'm doing a lot of talking tonight. I apologize, but pretty excited about this conversation. So let me go back to this view and put chat on the air here. Freddie's asking me, how do you combine the Rodecaster Pro with the XLR inputs of the new ATEMs? So again, that's a question, Freddie, I'm still trying to answer because I haven't really looked at those devices. I guess we could do this. Let's just go over here for a second. So let's go back to this view. We'll come back to the cloud page here. I'm going to copy this so I can come right back. Let's go back to products. Let's go to here. Let's just click on one of these. There's the front. Here is the back. And so if you look at the old HD, it had 2 XLR inputs. On here, so far, I'm not seeing any, right? I think that they're assuming that your audio's kind of come in via SDI in one of your inputs. Does that mean a camera having a microphone on it or bringing audio into a camera, which is, you know, quite possible if you have an input on a camera or you're using the high-end camera, they have XLRs there. So you can integrate it that way, but I was quite fascinated that I don't see any XLR inputs or any 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter stereo inputs. And I'm looking on here, I can't quite see this. There is analog, sorry, there is analog audio inputs, Freddie. I'm just now seeing this. So you would come in right out of the Rodecaster Pro, right and left, right into the right and left analog in. So that's what they're using now. And I guess I completely missed it. Those looked like SDIs when I first looked at them, but that's how you would bring audio. So again, still discovering. One of the things on my agenda this week is to sit down with the manual and read through all 3 of these devices. I have kind of a written out layout of my studio, and I want to see if either one of these devices will keep me from having to ever get a video hub, which is quite possible with all of the outputs that are available and the ability to sign any output to them. Now you have all those audios in. So 2 inputs on the first, the 1ME, 2ME has 2, and then you have 4 inputs in the 4ME, and then obviously the features get bigger and bigger and better and better. The 1ME has no super source, but it does have multi-view, and the 2ME has 1 super source. The 4ME has 2 super sources. So crazy things that you could do with those devices, and obviously they have solved the audio my audio question. But good question, Freddie, and you helped me discover that tonight by taking the time to look. David streams with the web presenter as well, and go back to this. So again, that is a great tool because it separates streaming. Now, you think about this, before the ATEM Mini Pro came out, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, the Extreme and Extreme ISO, everybody was buying an encoder and then finding a way to stream. So you had to encode the video out of an ATEM Mini or go to OBS through the USB-C port. But then out came the ATEM Mini Pro, and then the Pro ISO, and then I think the Web Presenter HD about the same time as the Extreme and Extreme ISO. And so our world, we started streaming from these devices on our desk, and that's what I did when I got my first ATEM Mini Pro, because I was going to buy a Mini, and then I bought the Pro instead when it was released. It was prior to the ISO coming out, and I would have hands down bought the ISO if I had a choice of all 3 like you guys do today. And so you can stream directly from them. They encode, but the Web Presenter HD will encode at 1080p 60, and then if you go up to the Web Presenter 4K, then you can start streaming at 4K, and that may be a solution for me. In fact, I probably will buy a Web Presenter 4K just because I may go 1 camera to some 4K endpoints. We'll see. There's other options for me to bring another 4K camera into my laptop using my cam link. I might put a card in my PC and bring all my cameras into my PC. We'll see. And then come out and encode in a 4K web presenter HD. So good stuff. Good stuff. And David says he has the web presenter 4K. So again, David, go ahead and give us a 1 or 2 sentence experience of that. Have you had a good experience with that device? Has it been pretty reliable? Do you like the display to see all that data? Do you use it? I mean, there's great audio stuff there. I mean, I've actually worked with a web presenter. I installed one at one of the venues that I did an install for them and consulted for them for 90 days, and they're using it every single week for 3 live streams. They have 2 on Sunday and 1 on Wednesday, and they record on a HyperDeck Studio HD only. And that's their main recording because they're coming out of a ROS console. It doesn't have any encoding, doesn't have any recording. And then they go out of that web presenter SD or that HyperDeck SD out into the web presenter, and they stream that way. And they were streaming on a Mac to OBS or from OBS prior to that and having major issues, and so we switched them over. So again, I'd love to hear how that's working for you. So David says, yes, it's great, and the display is also great to see how the stream is going. So now here's the other thing, David. Let me ask you this because curious minds want to know, and you have one. Did you add another monitor? Like I'm using 4 things right now on my BenQ. And I've showed this before, so let me know, guys, in the chat if you want to see it. I apologize if you're new to the channel and you're watching this recorded after it went live. But I have a BenQ 32-inch monitor. I purchased it for 3 reasons. Reason 1, I wanted a big display in my studio, and I wanted something that had, this is reason number 2, had good color quality. It was designed to do color rendering, color editing. I want to be able to see my colors. I want to be able to verify my colors. I needed to use different color versions. So RGB, sRGB, I needed to be able to use HDR, 709 rec, all of those. I can do that on this monitor. Plus it has 4 inputs. And so I can have 4 things on the screen, 2 things on the screen, 1 and 1 in a small picture, or 1 big display. And the cool thing is if you have 1 thing on the screen, you get audio from it. If you have 2 things on the screen, picture and picture, and something big on the screen, you can get audio from one of those devices. And I've never listened to it to see which one is playing audio. I'd assume the full screen would. If you go side by side, two things on, and this monitor, if you use the original mount, I have it mounted on my wall. I don't flip my monitors, but the original mount will turn. And so you can do 2 up, and the one that usually on the top or on the left will be audio. And when I have 4 things on my screen, the top left is my HyperDecks, and I have HyperDeck 1 and HyperDeck 2 coming into that monitor. And when I get my new HyperDeck Shuttle, I'm going to have to throw away or put in my drawer my 2 in and 1 out switcher and get a matrix of 3. Again, that's why I am considering possibly changing up my studio, because I would love to have more inputs. I would love to have more outputs. So who knows? I may have to use my extreme ISO as an ISO recorder, and we'll see. So I may just be using it to send 8 channels of video to do ISO recording down the road using one of the new constellations. We'll see. And my feeling is they may be coming out with a 4K lineup pretty soon as well. A key channel in the new HyperDeck Shuttle on a desk soon, I hope, as well as maybe a 4K on your desk shuttle for those of us doing production in small venues and also in our studio. So great stuff. Thanks for the feedback. David says he has it on a 24-inch screen. Is it an additional screen, David? And Freddie says, do you stream using ATEM Mini Extreme and the web presenter? So I think he's asking that of you, David, because it says at David. So you can answer Freddie there as well. So, okay. I want to go back to our other conversation, but thank you so much, Freddie. I now know where audio goes in the constellation. that's question number 1 already answered. I have 4 more questions, immediate questions that I need to deal with. And that is how many SDI, transitions am I going to have to make from SDI to HDMI, and then just how this is going to really work in the scheme of routing in my studio, as well as what is that really going to hinder me with the audio issue only being programmed out of those outputs. And then obviously, I want to look deeper into the idea of using the frames that they give you to play back video stingers. That's right. These new constellations, all of them, including the ME1, have the ability to play X amount of frames of video. So you could play a real quick stinger or a little bug up in the corner. So that's fascinating as well. I wouldn't invest in the 1ME. So I'm seriously looking at the 2 or the 4ME. And it's a huge investment, not that much for a 2ME, but it would be once you get converters and all of that as well. So we'll see where we go. And the advantage of me, if I do that ever, would be I can then use my other decks as maybe a portable unit when I go to work with some of these venues, because that work is opening up for me now here in the state of Washington. So pretty exciting. So, okay. So I copied this link. I should just be able to go back. Okay, so we're back in this conversation. Keep the questions coming. I do see here that David says yes. It is on its own screen, and I think I'll wait for 4K versions. And he's talking about the Constellation. So thanks for sharing that, David. I guess if I'm going to talk about these, I should put them on the screen. So David said he's going to wait for the 4K constellations. I can understand that. Yes, the Extreme and the 4K web presenter. I think that was in relationship to my question earlier. Or Freddie's question earlier, yeah. Okay. So I want to get back to this. Let's continue on here. I want to scroll down here and so support local backup ingest via USB-C disk. So you can see that they're integrating USB-Cs, local backup, so you could use your NOS. I don't have a NOS in my studio. I'm very interested in what you can do with that. Also being able to use it for SRT. And so I am starting to process that journey. And there's guys here on the channel, hopefully, that are going to help me answer some of those questions, because they're way wiser on that than me. And then repairable design for long life, so you can pull it out. You can make some changes in the storage updates, it sounds like. So no subscription cost. That's really cool. Free software for Mac and Windows. So you got the cloud store that's free for Mac and Windows. So it is Mac and Windows compatible. And then you got free software for Mac and Windows, perfect multi-camera video production. So a whole nother aspect of this for storing that stuff in studio and then immediately having proxies and editing remotely. So this could be in one building, and then people could be in other parts of that building accessing those files. So it really would help in building design as well as multiple location collaboration. So pretty cool. So here you go. Here is the good and the bad and the ugly news. Let's talk about the good. We can get in at $395, and Petra over on that channel. And I watched this live stream on Saturday. Petra is every week live on Saturdays. I will put a link here later tonight to Petra's channel. I saw a shuttle there, and I saw this Blackmagic Cloud Pod. And this doesn't have any storage in it, but this is the device that you're going to be able to use to integrate in your studio. So all of us could get a pod for $395. The cost of a Web Presenter HD is, I think, $495 if I remember right. Maybe it's $395 and I forgot. The 4K is $695, I believe. So again, Blackmagic Design has given us a solution. Then if you want to get 8 terabytes in it, and again, my backup right now is 10 terabytes and it's almost full because I'm constantly producing video. So I would never invest in an 8 terabyte unless I can do interchangeable memory in it and increase it. And it says 8 terabytes. So I don't know if it will do more than 8 terabytes. If you could update it, that's $2,995. Then you're at $9,000 for 20 terabytes. An 80 terabyte is even more expensive coming in. This is US dollars, I believe, $29,995 for that. So that's 30 grand. That's never going to possibly happen. Possibly, you never know. And then build to order if you want to go 320 terabytes. Imagine what that bill would be. So again, I'm only bringing this up because you have the $395 level. You have free software that works Mac and PC. And you have DaVinci Resolve, which a lot of people are already using because there's the free version. And think about it, if you want to get into the all-in version, it's not that expensive. I spent way more than that in my history with Pro Tools. It's just, it's crazy. So Blackmagic's design philosophy is staying away from memberships. That's attractive to me. You pay for the device. There is no membership to use the device. There's just going to be an expense to use these integrated devices. And Grant also said that it already could work with Dropbox by doing the proxy sharing. I don't really know how that works, but that's already been happening. Very similar to if you and I were sharing files through a Google Drive. This is just going to be a lot more integrated, a lot more instantaneous, and like Dropbox, I can have. It's really cool. I can have on my PC files, so I can have them in my PC in the cloud on another PC someplace else. So I've done that before, working from one part of my house to the other part of my house. And I like that. And we all know that you can get a cloud for your home, which would do the same thing. So you access those files through your local network. That's how businesses have been doing it for years. And I've been a part of that. But this new idea of cloud collaboration, editing video, remember, the hardest thing over the years for us to get through a Cat cable, a Cat 6 cable 10 years ago, to even think about it at my level, at a venue level or church level or restaurant level or small business level, was putting video over Ethernet. And now think about it. The speed is so fast. The quality of the cables and the ability to send the data through that. Then you have the whole fiber world that we've been seeing around for a number of years, and it's just incredible. Now, this is limited by your speed of your internet. This is going to be limited for power in your house, so make sure if you're going to start adding all these crazy devices, you're going to have heat issues, you're going to have power issues, so just keep in mind that part of your decisions that you need to be making isn't just financially, but it's space, it's integration, it's longevity, and if that's the best place for you to invest your hard working dollars. So again, here's the prices of those devices right here. So Blackmagic Cloud Pod, $395, $29.95 for the Blackmagic Cloud Store Mini, and this is all available on Blackmagic's site. $9,595 for the Blackmagic Cloud Store, 20 terabyte, almost $30,000. I mean, come on, you might as well say 30 grand. Sounds like an RV price, $29,990, $29,985. So again, build to order if you're going to go 320 terabytes. And the good news, guys, is that this memory is coming down in price. So that grid is doing this, and that's a good way for the grid to go. So seems like cars are going up as technology is less expensive. They just put more and more in it, more and more bells and whistles. But I do think memory is helping us by becoming faster and less expensive. So that's the good news in the world that we're in today. And obviously now you can buy a camera for the same price and have it be 4K and do things that you never could have a camera do 10 years ago without spending 10K. So okay, enough on that. Let's move on unless you guys have any comments or questions. But I wanted to bring this up because I do think it's going to impact the world that we all are working in, and the live streaming world, I think, is going to change. Video production is going to change. Audio, we already had Matt last week on the channel. And again, Matt, if you watch this, thank you so much for joining me. Matt Elliott, who is a audio engineer professional. a great, great, great mixer for live video. And if you did not check out that live venue, what an amazing mix that you get if you listen on your phone or in headphones, on a big screen TV, in your surround sound system, on your PC speakers in your studio. Mixing for a live event is a crucial aspect of the world we live in today, and that's changing as well, where you have the ability to do virtual mixes for a live event. That means that you can do a sound check mix for your live event after you've done your sound check with your band and have literally almost a perfect mix, because you already know who's playing, who's singing, and you're able to do that virtually later without anybody on the stage. That's huge for the music industry. It's huge for venues, churches, people that do big productions, even in-house video production. Those kind of virtual things are really important. Imagine a news desk, everybody else able to sit down, get all that audio and stuff taken care of, and then the people can come, press in, get makeup and all that stuff done. They can read their notes at the last second. The audio is all being mixed in another room because they've already done a virtual sound check, and now they can do a ready mix for live events. So, okay, so let's fly through some of these things on the chat. I think I'm live here. David's talking to Freddie. Freddie's asking David. I'm buffering. Okay. Thanks for telling me that. I am doing low latency tonight. So if that doesn't work, I apologize. I'm trying to speed up the chat so it's more virtual right now for me. So thank you for watching that. It's behind me. That's not a very good location. So it might just be David's in. I am trying to do low latency, David. So I've only done that a couple times. And Freddie's had it happen a little bit too. So maybe low latency is not the way to go. I don't think I can change it when I'm live, guys. So I apologize. David's having the same challenge there. So I could end the stream and then start again. Let me know, guys, if it's becoming a big problem. We don't have that much time left. I do want to go at least until 5:30, and I do have some other things I want to talk about. So let's get into it. So let me take the chat off the screen here, off the air, and let's change pages here. Okay, this software is really interesting to me. So if you have a pen right now, write down this web page. It is ADD, as in David, dot APP, as in Paul.com. This is kind of pretty cool software. Again, I'm going to put this on the screen. This is the audio design desk, and now that at NAB they announced a new beta, an open beta of a integration with Final Cut. Now I don't have a Mac. I do plan on adding, now that the Macs are kind of getting into that M1 Pro level, and I get into more and more video editing, and my PC gets older and older, and my laptop gets older and older. I'm probably going to go Mac. I still want to edit in Adobe Premiere. But obviously Final Cut Pro is Mac specific, and now they have integration with Mac. So let me just give you in a nutshell what this company's all about. They have the ability right now to integrate with all of these apps you can see on the top. You got Premiere Pro up there, you got DaVinci Resolve up there. And what it is right now is a plugin so that you can start making quick decisions, have a membership with them, and be able to get your sound effects. So you can actually search by a certain type sound effect, like a footstep. So if you're doing Foley sound, or you want sound effects in your live stream, or if you're gonna do videos and you wanna do some sound effects, like I've seen some guys have their cat come into their live streams. So you could edit that later and re-upload it to get the algorithm for both your live stream and then do an uploaded version of it. You could add some quick Foley or some quick sound effects or some transition sound effects. you can do a lot of those designs quicker and faster because they are working specifically to develop a tool that will give you the ability to make sound go quicker. Now, if you've ever edited video, if you've ever had multiple cameras, if you've ever brought multiple audio in, so you have the backup lapel mic and you have the overhead boom mic and you're recording these channels separately, you can't use the stereo mix that you have recorded because it's integrating all these microphones. You have to take the independent isolated boom microphone or condenser microphone, lapel microphone, whatever it is, you have to then mix that down later. That's hard enough, right? To integrate all that stuff and get a good mix. Imagine now being a documentary editor and being able to add sound effects. Like I watch a new series called Expedition Bigfoot. I'm a huge fan. I just like the whole concept of looking for Bigfoot. Don't ask me if I think he's real or not. That would be like asking me if I think Batman's real or not. So it'd just be too long a conversation for us to have. But I'm telling you this, they use sound effects. And if you haven't ever watched that show on History, I think you can get it in the Discovery app. But if you haven't ever watched that series, they use sound effects at a level. I mean, they use Foley sounds and the dramatic music, and it just brings you in to the edit. So this company is doing this, audio solutions for video editors. That's what they're all about. They won 2 awards. They won an award at NAB in 2022, Best of Show. They won that award because they have this new ability to integrate it, and that's this device right here. It's the audio, the AD audio bridge. Now, I'm not going to click on some of these links because a couple of them go to videos. I don't want to get flagged for their music. I don't want to get flagged because I don't have permission. But you can see all these videos here. And again, you can find this just simply by going to add.app and look at this software. Now they've already announced that they won a CES award for 2022, an honorary award before it ever happened. So they put their name in and their products in with everybody else, and they've already won an award. They're probably going to win other awards when they get there. So here is a new company that is actually making inroads, and now they've integrated this with the ability to use it right inside Final Cut Pro. And so if you're a Final Cut Pro editor, you got to be excited about something like this. Now, the one thing I don't necessarily like about this is that is a membership. And again, I do have a membership to my Adobe suite. I am trying to cut down my memberships, but I've added a few new ones. I've added them for TV. I got rid of my cable box. I got rid of my satellite box, and now I'm just using apps for what little TV I have time to watch, because YouTube is the TV I watch the most, and I don't have YouTube TV. I just watch YouTube like you guys watch YouTube. So here you can see kind of a view of them working on sound effects, and they can do different strikes. You can do a search. All of these sound effects are included in the package. So imagine this, one package. They even have video editing software that you can get, and it's integrated in it already, or you can integrate it with Final Cut Pro. You can use it as a plugin in some of the other software. I do not have it. I haven't downloaded the demo, but I'm going to. But I didn't want to wait to have this conversation because I don't want you guys to wait until I get my act together and figure out if this is a good tool or not. Because for some of you, this could be an acceleration for you working with clients, especially if you're watching this video and you're a video editor and that's your job, and you're thinking about going live now, and you're learning from my channel or other people's channel, because I've been asking other people to comment on this in their live streams, and I haven't even got an answer. I mean, they are answering other questions, but they're not answering questions that I asked them about this particular software, because I think my audio engineering side is why this caught my attention. And a shout out to one of the guys that I watch who went to the booth and talked about it. And that's how I discovered it at the NAB. I found a video that this new device was in. And I don't know, maybe Freddie, did you share this device, this software with me? I can't remember, because Freddie was actually sending me some emails about different things that he was seeing on YouTube at NAB. And a shout out to Freddie from Venezuela and his continuing helping me get educated, and I appreciate that. So one of a kind features. It syncs, timing is everything. So It can replace from one comes many, the magic marker, trigger real-time control. You can drag and drop. It's what they're doing here. Just incredible features as I was looking at this earlier today. Thousands of sounds included, 40,000 royalty-free sounds, loops, music cues. Now, I haven't looked at if you cancel your subscription, do you have to take those videos down? So buyer beware, I have not done that research yet, but I will keep reporting back to you guys on these new tools. But again, this is just one of the many things. We look at cameras, we look at microphones, we look at audio devices, we look at video devices, switchers, wireless HDMI transmitters, 4K transmitters, Blackmagic cameras, lenses. We look at all those things, even lighting, but are we really paying attention to this side of audio editing in video? Because it's huge. And I know someone recently that's no longer going to use Final Cut Pro on a regular basis because of the lack of audio editing features. And you have those in DaVinci Resolve. You also have Adobe Audition, which is integrated into the suite that I have. And you can also do some pretty incredible audio editing inside Adobe Premiere, which I absolutely love and I use now almost all the time. The only time I use Adobe Audition is if I'm going to get ready to send a file out for a podcast, and then it's just faster to do that for me in Adobe Audition. So I love the integration of what Adobe's doing, but I also think this is powerful software. And now you can see that there are different memberships. So a professional membership is $29.99, and that's going to give you all of the unlimited features. And you can start at $8.99 and get 50 different regions and 8 tracks. So that's a number of regions, and you guys can dive in deeper. But look at this, 40,000 sounds of music cues, 40,000 sounds in different file formats, WAV and AAC, as well as XML, multi-channel WAV, cue sheets, all kinds of things. So you could be queuing things in XML sheets. That's incredible. Something I haven't done, but we already know about the XML files right now working in the back of ISO recording for DaVinci Resolve files after you get done doing a extreme ISO recording or a A10 Mini Pro ISO recording. So that can also be integrated into the music side of things and automation, and that's pretty incredible as well. And then you can do commercial streaming. So you can do big, gigantic commercial projects with this $29.99 professional level. And I think if these projects are done, most of these services, if they're done and they're completed, and you've registered their software, even if you cancel your subscription, usually those projects are fine. You're not going to call a client and go back and say, hey, this company is no longer available. I can't use those files anymore. Now, I will tell you this, you do have to be aware of an issue that Aaron Parecki shared on his channel. He had a subscription to tracks, unlimited tracks. He was playing music in his stream, as well as another stream that he produces, and he got flagged. Someone used that music in a professional file and then registered it illegally, right? Because if you use it, you're not the owner of that music. You can't register it on YouTube as you're the owner. You're just a leaser. You have rights to use it on your channel, but you're not the person that should be flagging or automatically causing other people to get flagged. So that has happened on YouTube, so be very careful. That's why I haven't used any other music. I have my one music that I use in my channel, plus I have some music that I've produced myself that I could be using. But in reality, be careful about that. But I'm sure they're working through all that. I'm sure they have a legal team. And if something did happen with one of your videos on YouTube, you're going to be able to get their legal team to help you out. And Aaron was helped in just a matter of days with his issue with YouTube. So again, that can affect your monetization on your channel because he was temporarily not being able to receive any commercial funds for that video on his channel. So if you have over 1,000 subscribers and you're monetized on this platform, be aware that occasionally those things can happen. You could even have that happen if you're streaming live and their bots think something's not right on your channel. It's happened to me already. And, usually it goes away after a few days. but you might not be able to monetize right away. And if it's a real issue, then you're going to have to address it and respond to whatever streaming platform you're using. So, okay. Cloud streaming out there, this software by these guys. I did want to show you these awards real quickly, just so you know that I didn't make this up. Here is this deal here. It's a blog from Tool Farm. New audio design, desk, FCP extension beta, NAB now show 2022 official Tool Farm guide. And they talk about how Audio Design Desk won an award right here for their extension beta of this integration for Final Cut Pro. And then we cut back to this view, find this other page. Here is this announcement. Audio Design Desk named as CES 2022 Innovation Award honoree. So here is another award that they got. So obviously the industry, National Association of Broadcasters 2022 acknowledged this software and they won an award, had their little trophy. They're also being acknowledged from CES, and that's incredible if you think about it. So that's why I think it deserved a little bit of time on my channel. So a shout out to these guys for designing this. Again, add.app, and you check it out yourself. Okay, back in the chat here. Sorry, guys. Lots of stuff I wanted to get out tonight off of my chest. Thank you, Freddie. I'm going to keep going. Glad I have your blessing. David says it comes and goes, so I apologize. I will not hit that setting again, evidently. Freddie sent me an email asking for it. Says he's the new guy in video world. Need to learn a lot. Good to have you here, live production. Appreciate you joining me. We've been talking about cloud integration from Blackmagic Design. We just got done talking about these guys who won this award with the Audio Design Desk and their new integration to Final Cut Pro. And they've already been integrated as a insert or as a, I guess, a link plug-in, right? But now they have this, they've tied it together with their new beta release. And so if you guys are using Final Cut Pro, download the trial version and try that out. So good to have you here. Thank you. Tips, tools, and just stop by to say hi. Great to have you. And then David says that looks like a great app. Well, I'm glad, David, because we just burnt some time in our live stream talking about that app. And I am intrigued. So if you were to ask me if I was going to get that prior to getting a new Constellation, I'm a little bit more excited about this app than I am a Constellation and the prices, but it is a membership. So I'm also kind of excited about the portable cloud. I mean, I think that's well in my budget. I think it's a reason for me to dive in. I'm not a big DaVinci Resolve fan for only one reason. I love it. It's a great software. They don't have the codecs. You can buy a Microsoft version, I believe, of the Apple ProRes codecs. But if you are a PC user, right, Windows, they don't have the license evidently for the Windows version. I never got an official answer from Blackmagic Design. They just were saying to me when I asked about it that you have some DNX codecs that should work. I could never get a alpha channel graphic created for my HyperDeck that would actually play a fill and a key. And on that note, I wanted to say, guys, I do have a new video coming out this week. I thought I put the still image here, but evidently I did not. But I do have a making a macro for a stinger. Pretty in-depth 25-minute video. So I talk about all the things you need to know about the HyperDeck before you go into creating a macro, all the things you need to look at and verify. And then I also go into how to create a macro for a stinger. Now there's two levels of stingers. Macros. I only focused on a basic macro but it's complicated enough in that I actually change settings in my key, downstream key, and then I change it back after that stinger plays across the screen. So adding transitions and other steps in your macros may be something that I'll add to my channel later, but that will be, the video's done. I've rendered it, I've reviewed it. I just haven't had any time in my schedule to post it. So probably tomorrow or Thursday, that video will be here on my channel. And again, that talks about macros and the HyperDeck and integration. I say that to say that obviously these tools are meant and designed to help speed up editing. And I'm looking forward to adding a little bit more Foley and a little bit more stuff in my videos. And that's why I'm excited about it. And I'm also doing free training on my channel because I want people to know how to use their HyperDeck. And I think DaVinci Resolve makes a good solution for people for free. But again, not having the codecs that I always use, Apple ProRes 444 with an alpha channel, is pretty much every single graphic I design in After Effects, I render at that resolution because there's not that many different codecs that will render a alpha channel. And it also has to be something the HyperDeck will read, which we all know how finicky the HyperDeck is, but it's really friendly to Apple ProRes. So you can render at Apple ProRes 444 with an alpha channel. And as long as your animated graphic is transparent, it's going to work great if you put it in your HyperDeck, as long as you have all the items on your disk at the same exact codec. So if you're going to go 1080p on this disk, they all should be 1080p at 2997 frames per second, or like one of my clients, 30 frames per second. If they're all 1080p, 30 frames per second, Apple ProRes 444 with an alpha channel, they're all going to play, and your HyperDeck's going to see it fine. And these discs are so cheap now, you can have a set of graphics for one situation, a set for another situation. And the important reason to do that is that you could create a macro then in your software, your control software, and then never add a different thing to this disk. Always have that subscribe logo, always have that stinger, always have that bug on that disk, and then just never change it. So anytime you want to use this, you could use that in your live show, and you could have lots of these. So you could have 5 different live shows, one on Amazon, one on Facebook, one on YouTube, and they could be on separate disk. And that's what a HyperDeck can do. And I believe that's going to be about the same when you get to Shuttle. It's going to have the same issues with codecs until we see Blackmagic Design make some changes. So as long as you don't try to render in H.264 or DNX, you're not going to have any issues if you render in ProRes. Those codecs just are not available unless you purchase a set of codecs and then render in a different piece of software. And I don't do that. I render directly from my tools that I have here in my studio, which is mostly Adobe Premiere. And occasionally I'll have a client that knows DaVinci Resolve, and so I will make a file in DaVinci Resolve. So we're talking the same language when we're editing it or they're reviewing it. Okay, so Hank got here late. It's good to see you, Hank. Stop and Think just joined in late. Good to have you again. We're going late tonight. There's no post show. There will be a post show next week, and I will give you guys an update on my Batmobile. I will show you guys this much because I put some lights on it. You saw it in my intro video. You're going to see it in my outro video, and I played a commercial inviting everybody earlier, Hank. But here's what I have in camera 2. Is it camera 2? What camera is that? Oh, it's this camera. Let's go to camera 1 right now. I forgot which cameras I had here. Oh, well, that doesn't work. That's a great camera. What happened here? My camera shut down. I've never had that happen before. My camera 1 says it is not live. So I guess I can't cut. But again, in the background back here on the table, I have my new Batmobile design I made. And I don't know why my camera is on. I'm not getting a signal into my ATEM. That is really weird. It was working fine earlier. So who knows? But that's my backup camera. And usually it works all the time. But my USR is not live. You can see it's not right there. So completely blank, even though I can see it on the monitor. And so I can't cut to it. But again, I can play that commercial and show you guys that HyperDeck up front and personal. So let me play that commercial one more time. Here we go. Well, guys, stand by. For some reason, my switcher is no longer switching. So sorry about that. That was on me. That was my key supposed to automatically turn off, and I didn't notice why I couldn't get on the air. So that's my commercial, inviting you guys to next week's post show. I did want to talk about FilMic Pro tonight because Adobe has a new tool as well. So let me bring this up here. That kind of threw me for a loop, not being able to get my picture back on the screen. If you wonder why, I had my downstream key on playing that video in a macro, and it's supposed to turn off, and I think I hit a button before it had a chance to dissolve off, so that shut the macro down, and basically it defaulted to leaving that downstream key on the air. So you have to kind of know your control software to problem solve when you're live, and you saw how much time it took me to solve that problem, and I apologize for that. Let's just look through here and close that now. I did want to show you guys this. This is that group of guys that designed that app, and I just wanted to put that picture that was also in my still picture tonight. So shout out to those guys for creating a pretty incredible app there that integrates for us to use for audio. Okay, so right here, Frame.io. So FilMic Pro can do proxies. It can integrate with Frame.io. Frame.io, my understanding, is a part of the Adobe package. I do not use it, but they have jumped into this ability to integrate as well. So FilMic Pro, if you don't know what FilMic Pro is, it's the app that I almost always use when I'm going to go remote from my iPhone. So I can tether to my Apple TV, which comes into my live stream. So like right now, I can go into, if I can get this thing to go into remote mode here. So I'll tether to my phone, and then I'll open up FilMic Pro, and this is what FilMic Pro looks like. So it's now a regular video camera. And so if I was to switch over here to my Apple TV, my Apple TV then goes live, and I can go into Mix Effect on my iPad Super Source and change the input. You're seeing my laptop desktop. Now I could change to my A10 Mini Pro, and it's this simple. Tap on channel 3, and now I have FilMic Pro. So I could now go into record mode and set this up so it's uploading proxies out on the web and integrate it with my Adobe Premiere. So I could be shooting in the backyard and integrating with my laptop here in my studio or remotely at a location using FilMic Pro, using proxies to do quick edits, and then replacing that with the raw version when I'm ready to do that. That's pretty cool. So FilMic Pro can record in RAW now, ProRes, which is amazing. Codecs are available in FilMic Pro, as well as the ability to integrate with Frame.io. And so if you're using Adobe Premiere, here's an option for you to also start integrating using your smart device. So I teach that people can edit and shoot video with their smartphone because there are really some good B-roll footage here, and you can actually now with the cinema mode get some pretty good A-roll, right? So if you want a blurred background, you can pull that off now, even though it's done inside the software with some lens tricks. It's not the same as having a very high-end lens and getting that beautiful bokeh focus drop off that you get from higher end lenses, as well as some of the less expensive lenses. But in reality, to have the ability to be able to do remote shooting, to be able to do some integration, be able to go right back to your office in the building and be able to start working with those proxy files in Adobe Premiere, that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to be working on that tool in the next couple of weeks and talking about it here in the live. I'm going to also be looking deeper into DaVinci Resolve integration. Also, my decision on the constellations, my decision on the cloud service by Blackmagic Design. My HyperDeck Shuttle should be coming pretty soon. There are lots of things for us to dive into this spring. And I even want to have Adam Tao back on the channel, because there's been a lot of updates to his app Mix Effects. Plus, he is now working as a part of the team at Zoom. And even though he can't talk about that stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing his input and influence in that software, because I use Zoom with clients all the time. I also want to talk about how to bring your clients on the screen, OBS, how I use OBS for live, and I'm going to start using OBS in my live shows for slideshows, because it's just going to be a lot better tool. When I want to show slideshows right here on that screen, I'll be able to do that through OBS. And I'm doing a training tomorrow with a client of mine in OBS that wants to see how he can use it in his upcoming new live stream. So we want to talk about that, and I want to illustrate how I'm doing that. And I actually want to do a training on my channel of how to integrate OBS into a live stream, as well as using it to bring in guests. And that's just one tool to bring in guests. You can also use VDO Ninja, a free app, to bring in guests as well, and through OBS, and not have to go through Zoom. You just have to use some tool like OBS, not OBS, but Zoom, or even a cell phone, to have a back channel for audio, so that you can be talking real time. And if you want to look at them at the same time, you're going to actually have to use something like Zoom, so that you can have a face-to-face conversation with them. Because remember, SRT and NDI and all of that, a lot of times it's just sitting the video signal. You're not going back and forth like you can in Zoom and Skype. So keep that in mind. Even a streaming bridge is designed for me to stream directly to a streaming bridge. It's not designed to then send video back through it to the person there. So you'd have to use some kind of back channel to have a conversation. And that was a conversation that they talked about in that live stream on Tony Quick Tech Solutions, TVJ's, and Conjoling Technologies channel. They had a great Sunday live stream about SRT from a number of different perspectives, from live broadcast to Tony has a NOS that he was broadcasting all of these signals, receiving them all, and then broadcasting them live. It was pretty incredible to be a part of that. They're all able to send and receive SRT. So there's some lot of cool tools, and they said that tool was like $200 that they got. There's more expensive tools to do that, but go check out that live stream. So I'm going to wrap this up. So any questions about Filmic Pro Proxies? Again, Proxies are a lower resolution version of what you're shooting. It's faster to edit. And again, it just makes things work quicker when you're trying to do fast recording. You can do Proxies right now in Adobe Premiere. I know you can do it in Final Cut Pro. You can do it in DaVinci Resolve. And you can do all your editing in your proxies, and your final render will replace all those proxy files with a higher definition video. And I've only used proxies a couple times in the projects that I'm using, just because I'm lazy and I like to take more time to edit. I have pretty fast PCs, so normally when I'm editing 1080p, proxies don't have any value for me, but they sure do when you're doing 4K, 8K, and 12K. You cannot edit fast with those size files unless you had a NASA computer at your local studio. So, okay, so let's go back to my macros here, go back to me and this camera view. That's all I really want to say about Frame.io. It's new to me. I just need to dive in and find out how I can use FilMic Pro on location to get some quick B-roll up when I don't want to get my camera out of my case, and I do that a lot over the years. I just have to offload it off of my phone later, and if you shoot Apple files, it's really hard to download those files to ProRes files to a PC. I actually have to open up an Adobe app, render it for H.2.4, and then bring it into my computer. I think this integration is really going to speed up my process and keep the higher resolution files in Apple ProRes. So, plus if I shoot RAW in the FilMic Pro app, then obviously having those proxy files and able to replace it later with the higher res raw files is going to be incredible for me. So, okay. So Tony's back. Good to see you, Tony. Thank you for coming on with us. I've talked about your, not getting my chat on the screen now. All of a sudden, everything is breaking down here. Oh, I know why I don't have chat on the screen. Good to have you back, Tony. We talked about your live stream and SRT. We just finished up talking about Frame.io, so you can watch it back. And pretty powerful live stream that you guys did on Sunday, and it stretched my knowledge on SRT, streaming high definition video through Ethernet or through internet is pretty incredible. So go over and watch those guys' channels to learn more. And Tony says, thanks for mentoring our live stream, Keith. Appreciate her mentioning it. Sorry, I read it wrong. So yeah, you're welcome. It's good to have you. Thank you so much for always telling people about my channel when I'm over on your live streams. I attend your live streams, Tony, because I'm trying to learn more about Synology and some of the things you talk about, trying to get more time on DJ Ware. And I noticed that you said hi, so he must be here somewhere. I must have missed him earlier in the chat, so I apologize for that. But good to have you back, and I'm glad that you're going to watch the replay later. That would be awesome. So again, I'm using the Wacom One tablet, tapping with the pen for chat. So I did want to say one more thing. On my channel, there is a series of 5 videos on popping your chat out. And you say, well, it's like, I'm sure, Tony, you already do this, and I know some of you already know how to pop out your chat. I'm using a app from Aaron Parecki, and he took someone else's code and created this Google Chrome plugin. And then I found out on his channel on Sunday that the guy who created the free plugin, VDO, Victor David Ostrich, .ninja, that app, that plugin to be able to then bring in guests in through OBS and send from OBS to other locations from your ATEM through the USB into your webcam will do this, your PC laptop camera will do this, your Mac video camera will do this, webcam, as well as your ATEM. Your HyperDeck comes in USB-C now and will do a webcam of your HyperDeck inputs or your camera input in the back of it. So that device, VDO.ninja, the same person that developed that, took Aaron Parecki's plugin and made it work for all those different streaming platforms. That's really important. I haven't checked yet to see if it works in Amazon Live, but again, he took that free plugin, and I will make sure I put a link on my channel for that later. I think I already sent a link to Tony and to Freddie. I just would have to dig through my emails to find that link again. So that's interesting. So I can bring my chat on the screen using Aaron Parecki's plugin. I then open that up inside OBS as a web browser. I make that full screen, position it where I want it to be. And then I take the code that's in the pop out. So when you pop out your chat inside your live streaming window, Aaron Parecki's plugin gives you a code. You can ask for it. You copy that, put it inside OBS, and then I can display that on whichever monitor I want to, right-clicking on the program view and picking full screen. And when you click on full screen, you can go anywhere. And we're going to talk about that, do a complete demo in the next couple weeks, I believe, of that live, because I want to demo that, because that's going to be important for these other tools that you may want to use. If you want to show slides on the screen, if you want to bring it into your super source, if you have an extreme or extreme ISO, or you purchase any one of the new 3 constellations, they all have super source inside of them except for the ME1. So the ME2 has 1 super source, the ME4 has 2 super sources. So again, the ATEM Mini and the new Constellation HD does not have it, but the bottom line is you may want to integrate OBS into your live show or other software. And so that's kind of one way you can do that, by displaying through OBS full screen. So I can do that from my PC, and I can do that from my laptop. I'm only doing OBS through my PC right now to display chat, and I use my Wacom tablet as a monitor. And if you guys haven't seen this in the past, I'm going to show you this right now, and this is how we're going to end tonight, unless you guys have other questions. So I'm going to bring this up, get my camera live here, and that's a pretty good view. I'll push it back a tiny bit more, and let's now bring this into Super Source. So me and my desktop PC. So I'm using my Wacom tablet, and all I did was I popped out the chat and I drag it down to this monitor. You could do this with a touchscreen monitor, but the bottom line is now I don't have to use my mouse, which I do, to scroll up and down. It's really hard with this particular Wacom tablet. It has a 1-button device here, and I need to get a 2-button one so I can hold down the scroll up and down bar. A mouse has a scroll wheel, so if you get a lot of chat, this is not the best tool, but I love the Wacom tablet because it's another monitor in my studio. I will be able to use this with my teleprompter if I want to, so this may be my teleprompter, and I don't know yet, so I may buy a bigger monitor right here for my teleprompter, because when my shuttle gets here, I'll be able to use that. So chat can be popped out, and then this is a way for me to tap it and touch it and display them on the screen. And because I have my 5D Mark III coming into my my A10 Mini Pro, and then I also have my chat coming in from my PC OBS into my A10 Mini Pro, I can just switch right now and put chat on the screen. So let me go ahead and put DJ Ware's hi everyone on here, and I will make this live on air and off air. Now this may not work. Yeah, I think it does. Let me go like this. So yeah, so there's OBS displaying full screen, and so that's what I see, and I can make those go on the air or off the air. So what I'm doing is I'm lighting up whatever chat I want, and I can bring it on the air, and that you're seeing my input in my A10 Mini Pro. And if I just switch back to my Mini Pro, back to my overhead camera, I'm just using my A10 Mini Pro right now as a matrix, so I can bring in those extra 4 inputs, including my PC for chat. Now I can also now bring my laptop in and do slides, and I have a lot more capability because that channel's live all the time. My desktop PC is live in my ATEM all the time. Now I do have a switch over there underneath my speaker, and I can make my PC live all the time. I just haven't switched it since I started using pop-out chat, because I'm doing it all inside my PC and my A10 Mini Pro. So again, I have a laptop on my desk. I do a majority of my editing. My PC is on pretty much all the time as a backup, and I can use it. So if I'm in the middle of an editing project, I can switch right away to my PC because I'm saving everything on these SSD drives. So I can just switch it. So if something crashed on my laptop, I can go immediately and continue editing that project, because the backups and all the auto saves I keep right on these SSD drives. And eventually I'll be able to do that in a super fast cloud service here in the studio that's 100 or 1,000 megabytes a second or more, because I love that. So again, using the Wacom tablet as one of the other monitors and tools in my studio, and potentially I may be using it as a teleprompter, because I will be using my teleprompter, guys, not so much to read it like, you know, typically a teleprompter. I'm going to be using it mainly for notes. So I can just, you know, make myself a nice little XML file notes and be able to scroll through it. And if I'm playing a video, I'll be able to bring it up on a screen with a push of the button and read it on one of my monitors as well. So again, we'll see when I get to Shuttle how that works, but this is just one more tool in the mix here inside my studio that I love having and I love using. So man, we have been going for an hour and 45 minutes. If this was the post show, we would have another half hour before I would wrap it up. But I think I'm going to wrap this up tonight. do you have any input, any questions about OBS you'd like to talk about? Without getting too deeply yet tonight, because we are going to cover that in the weeks to come. Any questions you'd like to address about SRT out there to TVJ, or out there to Joe at Controlling Technologies, or to Tony at Quick Tech Solutions? Would love to get your questions to them, and you guys can chat here in the chat as well. I'm perfectly fine with that. So cloud editing is going to be a thing, I believe. Proxies being available via your phone, using it as a device, both iOS and the Google phones and all of the Android phones that are out there. You have so many tools now, it is mind-boggling. And Atomos announced some cloud devices as well, proxies for older Atmos recorders, and a brand new 7-inch Atmos recorder, and that will be something that we will discuss in the next couple weeks as well, and that's exciting. So there's more out there in NAB that was announced, but that's all we're going to talk about tonight, unless you guys have some questions. Now, the last thing I'd like to ask you guys to do is, if you have a product that jumped out to you that you think is hot in your research on NAB, go ahead and name it in the chat. If it's a software, or if it's a device, or a lens, or a camera, I would love to have you drop that in the chat right now, so anybody else that's watching this far into my video will be able to check out these devices. And I didn't drop my stuff in the chat, but we put it on the screen. You can drop, no, don't drop links, because they're not going to work in my chat anyway, but you can put the name of that device or that item in the chat. That would be great. Okay, anything else that you guys would like to discuss or talk about? It looks like I'm still streaming, no buffering, never seen buffering myself, only have heard it in the middle of a night. So, well, if there's no more chat, it sounds like you guys are ready to wrap it up. So if you're good and you're ready to go, let's say, let's go in the chat, and we will get this wrapped up tonight. So in review, cloud, Blackmagic design, right? New software that you can purchase as subscription. You can buy their editing software, have all of those thousands of tracks to bring into your software. The shuttle's coming out very soon. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. That video's blown up. We've spent some time talking about the constellations, and now we know that they have audio input. So that's pretty cool. You can check that out. And we also talked about Filmic Pro having proxies, and just the whole idea of us being able to integrate and collaborate is pretty cool. So that's it for tonight's live stream. Tony says, as always, thanks, Keith. So again, I appreciate that, Tony. And how soon would what session be available? My video that's coming out on macro creation? Is that the one you're talking about? Help me out here. Freddie says, have a great night. DJ Ware says he's going to watch the replay. Thank you for your thanks. I appreciate it. I just want to make sure that I address this, Hank, so that we're not missing your question. How soon will this session be available? So tonight's live stream will be up as soon as I'm done, as soon as it renders. So, and that was what your question's at. So yeah, you should be able to watch this as soon as I get off the live. I think they just have to render with YouTube, and it takes like 4 or 5 days for the closed captioning to work, and I have to turn it on. So thank you, Freddie. Appreciate it very, 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 very much. Glad that you're able to be here and join us all the way from Venezuela, Caracas, Venezuela. So The other thing I want to do, just FYI, next week, guys, in the post show, I hope you'll come and join me. I do want to do 2 polls. One of those is, how interested would you be in joining me for a Zoom conversation, where instead of doing a live stream, we're going to have the same kind of conversation where we're all in a Zoom. We'll see how that works. Not sure how well the video will be, but it would be great to have a face-to-face conversation. That poll is going to be next week. I did a poll earlier today asking how excited is everybody in regards to cloud. So I'm going to end that right now, that poll, because that was just something I wanted to do tonight. So that's officially ended, and I'll look at the results of that tonight. But next week, I'm going to leave those up for a while, but there'll be polls I want to do in the post show. And then we have some other cool things we're going to talk about in the live. And I have a couple things that might be coming in the mail this week. So we'll see if that's going to be in next week's Tuesday live show. So awesome. So basically I had 12 votes. It's 50-50. So thank you for your input on that poll tonight. 50% excited about cloud editing and 50% no. And I'm kind of half and half right now, but I think going forward, the more people are involved in doing professional or even collaborating video editing, like I know a lot of people like to make short movies, documentaries, and they'll get other people to help them do some coloring, some editing, some audio mixing. Like, wouldn't it be cool to be able to have Matt do a mix for you in a documentary that you shoot? So collaboration is going to be something of the future. And I really believe it is something in the present. So again, I hope you guys will join me next week for the post show. We'll be back live on Tuesday for our normal about an hour and 10 minutes. So I appreciate you guys. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. Keep your chin up, keep your head up. And if you don't have a fountain in your backyard, consider finding a nice place to relax and enjoy a cup of whatever and really reboot your brain. I want to close with this as I say goodbye. My son travels and does security around the world, and we were talking about those things that we do that just rejuvenate us. And I want to remind you, find that thing, especially as your temperature may change. Like, it's spring here, and I've opened up my fountain and I can sit out back now on most days. And the closer we get to summer, the nicer it'll be. So find something that will rejuvenate you and get you ready for another great week. I'm Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm out.